We're live. Okay, yeah, we are. And we're live. Hey everyone, this is the No Nonsense Podcast. Oh, let me grab my mic for this. Hey everyone, this is No Nonsense. Oscar here, along with my co-host Naim Abuelhawa. So today we're gonna wrap up season one of our season of our episodes for season one. And as promised, I know that it is what 2 or almost 3 weeks late. But, Naeem is back in school. I'm doing my own thing, with my channel along with other little projects. I got school as well, and I'm way behind on that. But it is what it is. But, we're finally here. Finishing up season one. So, Naeem, if you're there, how are you? How have you been? How is school treating you? I know that you just started yesterday.
Yeah, so how are you, fans? How are you, Oscar? How's everyone in 22182 zip code? How's everyone all across the United States and the world? I hope you all are getting through the COVID-19 pandemic well, or as well as possible. Yeah, so I'm doing a 16 credit semester thus far, and it's well, I say thus far, 16 credits. It's just what it is. Like anything's gonna change. And thus far, I've been kicking some cowboy butt out here in the rodeo. What am I? Who am I kidding? I live right outside Washington D.C. in the big city, so no rodeos or cowboys around here. But yeah, in short, all is well with me. Very busy between school. I'm trying my hand at a new project. I don't want to make public yet, but I will make public when it takes off for all our viewers to know. So there's a lot going on. A lot going on in my life. A lot going on in it sounds like in Oscar's life. So how are you, Oscar? And how has life been treating you? I know we've been on a little bit of a break and we haven't been in contact with each other much. So catch me up and catch our viewers up as well if you'd like.
Well, I've been doing stuff for my school just because I've been sitting on it for almost a year now. So, and people, well, for this in this case, people have been holding that over my head. But I never expected COVID to hit, and my laziness to reach a whole new set of a laziness. But I'm finally settling down, finally getting it done. I'm actually doing a lot of things on my channel. For those that don't know, sub me up. My YouTube channel is Oscar Montiel. I usually talk sports and technology. I finally found because I pushed myself away from the whole entire technology discussion just because of where I'm where I'm schooling at the moment. They rather keep their students what they learn private. But I found a loophole. And the loophole is check out my web series. It is Oscar's Accessible Technology Tools or Access Technology Tools. I talk about different tools, that I use on a daily basis from my phone, my Braille Note Touch, my laptop, my PlayStation 4. What else did I throw in there? Yeah, I think, yeah, those are the only videos. And I also as a bonus edition, talked a little bit about Braille and the different, the history of Braille displays and Braille, note takers. So definitely check that web series out. I'll put my channel down in the description below. You don't need to worry about that. So yeah, that is what is up on my channel. Just waiting around for soccer and football to start rolling around. Because that I'm going to be covering that whenever European soccer comes up, and then when the football regular season starts. So I'm just waiting for those two things to start up again, and I'll start posting videos maybe daily or weekly depending on when I get news. So yeah, that's what's up with me. But anyways, all right. So as I mentioned before, we are gonna wrap up the season with Naeem's top 10. If you haven't checked out my top 10, go ahead and check them out. I think you and Jason both, Naeem, were surprised by my number one. Um, and if you are viewers of our channel, I think you guys would be surprised at my number one. It, funny enough, isn't one of our episodes. It is one of our episodes. It is one of our clips. I will not let you know what clip it is. You guys are gonna have to go check our part one finale out. But we are here to talk about Naeem's top 10. And Naeem, you picked. I'm gonna give a little bit of a lot of your top 10 are clips within an episode. There's multiple clips in one episode, so I may have run a little slow just because I need to look around the episode just to find the exact, or not, like, as close to the timestamp I can get. This is unfortunate that it's just us two tonight. On part one we had Jason as our special guest, but he you know gave us some criticisms, and we're like, okay, we understand. So if it's just us two, then it shouldn't take that long. But let's see if that actually rings true with what you did to me, because again I have to find the timestamps within the different episodes, just because again you picked two clips within the same episode, so I got to find that stuff. But anyways, some season 2 news, guys. If you didn't check out my quick review of what's coming up in season 2, um I'm gonna I talked a little bit about our titles, but something that you will notice if you checked out our titles episodes, that I made clear that no one from season 1, with the exception of Naeem's cousin Obey, will be returning for season 2. That is the only thing I'm gonna let you guys know for season 2. We're doing a lot of things differently now for season 2. And you might think, oh, minor changes. No, they're not. They're going to be minor changes, and they're going to be major changes as well. So, I will keep you guys in suspense. Naeem and I did talk. We talked a lot about, oh, this will be a great episode. This will be a good episode. No, we already structured season 2. I did drop the title, so go check that video out. If you guys are curious. But other than that, I will not drop anything else that we're going to be doing for season 2. A lot of things, will be, a lot to do with me and Naeem, sitting down and looking over things whenever, we get a chance. But so yeah, guys, that is, a small update for season 2. All right. So Naeem, talk to us about, give them a little bit about your top 10. Just because I did talk about your little top 10. Don't give away the clips, or the clips in the episodes just yet. But just talk about what went into picking your top 10.
Yes, indeed. Whoa. Yes. So there was a great focus on the value and the takeaways and the messages and the lessons and the themes had within certain parts of certain conversations. And that's what really stuck out to me, is the meaning in the words, the meaning in the message, and how I have grown since said conversation, or how I have grown thanks to said experience that has humbled me, that has humbled me or made me grow. So there's plenty of deep value found within the clips. So I would kindly ask our viewers to pay attention to the words, the conversation being had in the clip. That's the biggest takeaway. And before we get to our top 10 and my top 10 and my honorable mentions, I wanted to say there's one clip that wouldn't qualify for this at all, but was definitely worth uh, worth mentioning. It is within Oscar's top 10. I don't want to give too much away because you guys have to check out that portion. But we were going through one of his clips, and it made me realize why I forgot to hit mute at one point or another. And it gave Oscar, Jason, and myself, all three of us, a great deal of genuine, authentic, and fun laughs. So that's I guess an honorable mention, meaning it wouldn't qualify at all on this list, and it wouldn't even qualify for an honorable mention just because it did not happen in our season. It happened within Oscar's top 10, which is part of our season. But I mean, it's not a clip. It's just it kind of happened, but I liked it because it was just honest, honest to God fun laughter. So yeah, I guess without much further ado, if you're ready, Oscar, I know I sent you the list of my top 10 earlier. If we can set that stuff up, we can get ready for number 10. And remember, viewers, do pay attention, please, to the conversation and the content of the conversation enclosed within each of these clips, because that's really the method behind my madness in selecting the clips I selected. And I want to thank all our guests and all our viewers for embarking on this journey together with us. This was our first season, but it obviously is not going to be our last. So we're going to have a great deal of fun, and we look forward to bringing Obey back on, amongst other surprises for season 2. But yeah, I think without further ado, if you have the clip up, Oscar, and is it possible? I know when we were doing the test run earlier, I had difficulty hearing it. So is it possible you can higher up the volume on that clip on your phone, Braille note, or whatever you're using the clip on? We can. You should check out Oscar's video on different Braille displays. He talked about the Braille Note Touch there, which is a cool little device. So definitely worth checking out. And maybe in the future we'll get into doing written blogs once we have our podcast website set up. But there's a lot to come with that, and I don't want to unveil our surprises. We have plenty of surprises coming with our website.
Oh my gosh,
Sorry, did I
Naim,
interrupt you, Oscar? I think the signal is.
No, why
I
did
was
you?
talking about our website.
No, dude, that was one of the
Sorry about that.
projects.
What was that?
That was one of our projects that
It
I
is one
wanted to
of our
keep secret.
projects,
That I
but
wanted to keep secret.
well, I for our viewers with a nice new website coming out soon. We won't say what will be on there though. Well, I kind of unveiled that we might have
Yeah.
written blogs. Okay, maybe I spoke too much.
Yeah. All right. So without Jason or a third party here, I guess I can do the little voices for the counting down. So number
Yes,
10.
please.
I want to say in my closing statement here, we're not against the sighted world. For folks who thought, oh my gosh, you're talking about us against them and it sounds like a bitter warfare. No, we just want to educate, and we understand that we're in the best position to do so because we're experiencing blindness on a daily basis. And some folks, with all due respect, are kindly ignorant. And we just got to educate and inform them. And it's never an us against them narrative, but it feels that way sometimes when folks just don't want to learn. And when they just don't want to learn, it's okay. You do as the southern little phrase goes, you just say, bless your heart, son, and move along. Because there's not much you can do if folks don't want to allow their ignorance to be pierced or dismantled. But education is the key word here for me. I would like to pass it over to either Massam or Oscar. Leadership lessons and closing statements.
Alrighty. Well, I absolutely loved your examples. There were a couple things you said that I actually just really wanted to write down. Let me recall one of them really quick. I was ready to fight that battle and win. That's like a stellar philosophy right there. And at this point, I will use the word philosophy because I think that's a philosophy and I love it. So for me, leadership lessons, I think you, Naim, touched on yet again another really good point about knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses, and also acknowledging that you're not entirely always going to have it together. And I think based on that, I think one thing that I deeply learned that unfortunately I think you just honestly need life experience to learn is that integrity and accountability are so important, and sometimes the way you gain that is by not having it in the first place and then someone pointing it out to you, and then you think about it, you go over your reactions and you grow from that. I would say that I had been pretty successful in the past years, and I've been, achieving all of my goals. I've been reaching my standards, and I was flying pretty high, to really like put that and like extend that to, I guess, the broad horizon. But again, a common theme that we've brought up already is like sometimes you really need to humble yourself, because I experienced a time where I was a leader. I was, responsible for several initiatives, and I had people who were working with me, and I let them down. I dropped the ball. I wasn't present. I didn't communicate. And the thing is, there's only so long that you can do that and hide it, right? There's only so long.
All right, before we get carried away, because again, nice clip, just for the sake of time. Again, the reason why we're doing these top tens is to encourage all of you guys to actually watch the episodes as well. But Naim, what went into you picking this as your number 10? Let's start off with that.
Yeah, so Masum starts to allude to this, and I think she gets into it further in this clip. So you guys should check out our episode with Masum Mehta. We're greatly appreciative for her willingness to join us, as she did on that Saturday afternoon that I remember very clearly, because it was quite pleasant discourse we shared, and there was plenty of leadership lessons to be learned amongst us. And for all those who consume our content, leadership lessons for y'all to hopefully take away and benefit from. And that is that she alluded to the importance of understanding accountability and responsibility as a leader, and having dropped the ball and deciding, and she gets into her personal experience with that, and deciding when you have to, for me anyway, now switching to my experience, when you have to step away and realize you're not putting in the right energy, the enough effort, the correct effort, enough effort and the correct effort to continue upholding this responsibility of leadership, to continue upholding this valuable position of integrity and accountability. And if you're not able to do so, then either grow and build yourself up to the occasion and meet that occasion of responsibility and leadership, or acknowledge this vulnerability, this weakness, step back temporarily, rebuild, grow, learn, correct, and regroup and rejoin. And I think it's acknowledging one's vulnerabilities, acknowledging one's weaknesses that will enhance their strengths. And Massam alluded to a quote or a quick phrase I said, but I think she contextualized it perfectly. Massam contextualized it perfectly is you have to walk in with the intention of winning. And the only way to win is to know what can make you lose, what could be your vulnerabilities that could make you lose. And I think any leader walks in with the intention of winning, but if they can't see what can be a collision course for them, if they can't acknowledge what can divert their path, then they're not going to be able to win, because the losing strategy will always overtake the winning strategy and will crush the winning ability of any winning leader. So I think it's important to highlight, thanks to Masum's contextualization, the need to acknowledge your weaknesses and the importance of making your vulnerabilities, converting your vulnerabilities into your strengths if you can. If not, work on those weaknesses and vulnerabilities to enhance your strengths, to strengthen your strengths, if that makes any weird sense. And that is where Masam highlights the responsibility that comes with any leader's fundamental principle and fundamental understanding of integrity and accountability. So thank you, Masam, for highlighting that point. It's a leadership lesson we should all take, myself included. And I think it's important that to digest the full content of that conversation, y'all should check out that episode. But I think this is an important takeaway. If there's anything you guys can take away from this podcast. It is leadership lessons we've learned that hopefully will give you guys context and content, so you can avoid learning it the hard way, because in some instances we learned it the hard way. I refused to confront some of my vulnerabilities, some of my weaknesses, until they made me fall flat on my face. I
Like not
refused
using your
to really
using
acknowledge
it like
integrity and
using.
accountability till I refused to acknowledge integrity and accountability until I was held accountable in a very serious and hard situation. Sorry, Oscar, I talked over you. What was that?
I was gonna say like you refuse to use your laptop and instead use Ira.
Well, that wasn't, we can get into the philosophy of that. That was a choice I made given the resource was available
Oh
to
my
me.
gosh.
I have the laptop readily
I'm
available
just
and I can
pulling your
flip it
leg,
open
man.
right now.
You just need to learn to laugh things off and say nothing, man. That's your biggest problem. Is that when I'm messing, because I was messing with you, dude. Again, I've told you this off air many times. Just you gotta learn to not explain yourself, because I already know. I don't want to hear the explanation. I'm just teasing you, man. You just gotta learn to take the criticism, roll your eyes if you can, and just take a deep breath and laugh. That's what I need you to do,
Well, I
man.
hope to take that content and use it as a knowledge for self-reflection and self-growth, hopefully. So thank you. And I will say I do have the luxury of Ira, but I also acknowledge that it won't be a luxury forever and always. There may be a time when I do need to open up that good old dusty laptop again, and I have it right here. I was using it earlier today for schoolwork, actually. But yeah, thank you for highlighting something I do need to work on, Oscar. This is appreciated. We always look for opportunities to grow. Thank you for highlighting a weakness that I can convert into a strength. That's all about, friends holding each other accountable and pointing out where they can grow and where they can become more well-rounded characters, more solid characters. So I think y'all should check out the episode, but I think most importantly,
Oh,
y'all can
oh,
take away some leadership lessons from
oh
that
yeah,
conversation and
definitely.
from the
And
context provided to the clip made available to y'all.
yeah, and here's the thing: we're not done with this episode. Because, by the way, Naim, I tried to use since you weren't very specific with the different, and we'll, in fact, well, so my take again, with the Mossum episode, we actually, I think I said this, in my top 10, even though my clip was a little different, but you know, it was cool because not only did we have, the blind perspective on things, we also had the sighted perspective on things. Granted, we didn't get the sighted perspective on, being a leader, but we got what we got. And, I'm about to, I think what I'm gonna say is gonna go with, your number 9 pick, and I did find, something that, will affect, the number 9, as close as I think you want for the number 9 pick, just because again you were kind of vague with what you wanted for the other clip that you wanted in from Awesome episode. So let me get. I already have it set here. And I guess after I'm done playing it, I can get my take on your number 10 and number 9, and then you can do your take, so that way I can get the other clips set up. So without further ado, number 9.
I would absolutely say that I think it depends. I think it depends on circumstance. I think one fear that I have, and I think many of us will continue to have, is really trying to work through the idea of social distancing when it's hard to judge distance, and be able to see the markers on the floor. I know that for a lot of predominantly cane users, if you put your cane out, if you extend your arm and your cane is out, it's generally around 6 feet, so that should do it. But I am a primary dog user, and so our dogs are not taught how to social distance. They don't know that you're supposed to keep 6 feet apart. They are trained to stand at the end of a line. They're trained to squeeze through crowds in tight spaces. And so that's just going to be something that's a work in progress. That's something I think is going to take a lot of patience from both sides, right? I think our instinct often to get really defensive, to get really upset, especially when, well-meaning people in the public might get upset and they'd be like, you're not following social distancing mandates. And, I think it's so easy to be like, well, I'm sorry, I can't see, it's not my fault. But I think we all have to take so much responsibility in this time. And I think we just need to give each other a lot of grace, because there are a lot of things that are going to be so much more difficult now. Social distancing is definitely a big one, but even just kind of moving around in the public, having access to delivery services, because, now everything is very, very reliant on pickup and delivery. And I guess the one other thing that just occurred to me now that's also really important is rideshare services and public transportation. That one's just really hard no matter which way you spin it. I think that in bigger cities, transit is still, is still functioning because more than blind people use it and rely upon it. But again, there's so many measures put into place for everybody's safety that we all just need to be aware of. Unfortunately, in places where there isn't as much public transportation and rideshare has been limited, and, you might not have somebody who can drive you places, it's hard, it's hard. You really have to try to figure out and plan what the best way is to get around, because if there's no rideshare and there's no transportation and there's nobody available to get you where you need to go, you have to be flexible. And I think that in itself causes a challenge, but I think there are definitely things that many of us share. So it's a little easier to find common ground there.
Okay. So, 'cause so the reason why I told Naim that because he kind of left a little vague, so that's why. So what he was trying to get up for number 9 was how blind individuals cannot enjoy as many as extracurricular activities as we used to, because here's the thing, the blind community, and there has been multiple email discussions that Naim and I have been a part of, and so, and like a lot of, the questions is, how will we know that, we're going to be 6 feet apart? How can we, explain to this person, hey, our canes, we need to tap, or, keep a hold on your ankle or whatever, or, tap your ankle to make sure that, we're not far enough. But also extracurriculars, because you got to realize people, blind individuals cannot drive. They cannot drive unless unless Naim, correct me if I'm wrong. Self-driving cars came out in the last 3 or 4 months since we've been in quarantine. So are us doing getting ourselves around using Uber, Lyft, public transit like the bus, metro, maybe even some that need to go from city to city and train and stuff like that, or from state to state by train. We do not have that option. So let's hop in the car, just we'll pick up a mask, hop in our car and drive away, and we'll automatically know that it's we're going to be 6 feet apart. No, we cannot. We don't know that. So doing extracurriculars as blind individuals is as hard for us now with COVID than it is for sighted people, because at least sighted people, they can tell when they're 6 feet apart. If people because people can say oh, I have my mask on, blah blah blah, but you don't know. You honestly don't. Like they can tell you, but they can also fib. They don't have a good reason to tell you the truth, because we are in the real world here. So this is a clip for number 9. And as for your number 10, again, leadership, I think that, and we'll definitely get more into it for season 2. Again, you guys are probably wondering what Oscar's Dark Rise is for our season 2 titles. I'll get more into, more into it in season 2, but I'll talk as much as I can so that way I don't give much away for that episode. I did speak, about this, in this episode, my experience, like some of my experience in high school. And, my thing was, why treat blind people differently than, um, than any sighted individual? And, leadership opportunities, that, the NFB, and this is something that we touch on in this episode as well, the National Federation of the Blind has opened a lot of doors for me. And, in leadership wise, and it has improved my leadership skills. And this is what I liked about, what Naim said as well. You have to, you know, pick your battles, and the battles that you want to pick, win them, because you have to be prepared and ready to win them. Because if you don't, then you're just gonna allow people to, walk all over you. Just take a second, or a back seat to the people. You can't do that. Something within a leader. You need to learn your weaknesses as well, but also, if you need to stand up for yourself, stand up for your beliefs, and stand up for other people. Get ready to, pick battles and win them. You can't pick battles and not expect to win them, because, that'll, create doubt in yourself. And there's nothing wrong with, having self-doubt, but you need to be more sure of yourself. Because, again, if not, then you're just going to prepare yourself for, disappointment. But anyways, that is my take on number 10 and number 9. So Naeem, what is your take on this number 9 pick? And let me know if I got it right with what you wanted. I tried my best with what you gave me. So
thank you for those words of wisdom, Oscar. Those are sincerely appreciated. Indeed, the sentiment is very true that you pick your battles and you fight them to the end. You see them to the end, you win them. Because if you don't have that mindset, self-doubt can plague you. And I know self-doubt. I experience self-doubt myself. Too many selves and my self-doubt. Anyway, you picked a perfect clip to highlight what I was trying to point out for number 9, Oscar. And I intentionally was vague because I wanted to see what your thoughts were in terms of what I was trying to say, and you found a
by the
perfect
way,
clip, so
for
thank you for that.
so your number 1 that you pick will be your number 8, just because I just thought about it since I'm already here in this episode. And this will be taken from this episode. So your number 1 may be changed, or is going to be changed. So
Well, I want the lessons to be communicated, so yeah, that's totally fine. And another lesson is problem solving, figuring out how to strategize, how to properly organize things. So that's the biggest number 1 lesson that I hope folks and myself can take away from this. I think another thing I wanted to highlight from clip number 9 and Masam's expression of how, thank you, Masam Mehta, by the way, for joining our episode, for her expression as to how she will have to problem solve, strategize, and figure out techniques to navigate this world as a blind individual in COVID. Because, we can't stay home forever and a day, but do what makes you feel most comfortable. I'm not comfortable really going out too much yet myself. So I make those decisions and figure out how I can make adjustments accordingly. But Oscar does a good job of reminding me of the importance of a rich and wholesome social life. And part of that is going out and getting into the community. So I'm practicing and plan on implementing techniques and strategies to remain safe and remain conscious of my surroundings in this post-COVID world. So, it's the problem solving is the biggest message, and that applies to more than just traveling and commuting as a blind individual. That applies to everyone in every situation. We're put in situations, we're placed in contexts and in scenarios where we have to problem solve. We have to strategize because we cannot just freeze and not move forward. We have to find ways of moving forward. And COVID has really underlined the importance of that, really taught us that. And I think that's really my biggest takeaway from clip number 9. Figure out what strategy works best for you. The cage is only built around the one who chooses to be caged. Remember that. You build your own cage and end up locking yourself in it without realizing it. So don't cage yourself. Leave the limits to possibility endless. Put no limits on possibility. Put no limits on the opportunity to find what's possible. And what ultimately may appear improbable becomes probable if you say it's possible. Probability is something of more a practical, mathematic, statistical calculation nature. Possibility is something of a self-realization, self-conceptualization, something you make to be real. And if you make it real, mathematics and statistics will accommodate you and cause a probability for what you know as your possibility. And in turn, that becomes reality. Because what's probable today is likely tomorrow and has happened by next week. Remember that, folks. I hope if there's any couple of messages you guys can take from tonight's episode, it's the root of leadership lies within the belief in yourself. Oscar highlighted this earlier. It is important to not allow self-doubt to metastasize itself in you. Don't allow self-doubt to grow into a cancer. Allow it to be an afterthought that pushes you forward and motivates you onward. So onward in solidarity, we shall grow and establish our possibilities, convert them into probabilities, and in turn, make them into realities. Thank you very much. I want to pass it back to you, Oscar. Any thoughts, or did you want to transition up into number 8?
Yeah, so again, number 8, I'm gonna get as close as I can get, just because again, something I do love, and the reason why I say we're gonna do a lot of changes for season 2, and something to expect for season 2, is we're gonna be a lot more organized, because as of right now, so to give you guys a little, thing, so or a little lesson here. Our original season finale wasn't gonna be, our top 10. It was actually originally gonna be, an ask me anything type thing, but we didn't get any questions. Unless, Naim, did you get anything? Because I did not. Did you?
Not as of yet, but we definitely want to hear questions from our audience and our viewers. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Shoot me an email. Reach out to Oscar. You can get my email, nmabuelhawa@gmail.com.
Oh, by the way,
nmabue.
so something cool.
Yeah.
So I was able to edit the channel settings. So if you guys are curious to how you guys can get in contact with us, so that way, we will be happy to mention it, at the end of every episode. But in case you guys don't tune in to the end of the episode, what you could do to find our contact info, or the way that you can get in contact with us, or anything else that, if you want to know, my link to my channel, or once Naim starts up his channel, the link to his channel, all you need to do is go to, click on our channel, go to the about section of the channel, and Naim's, and I think, yeah, I think I did put my email there as well. Both of our emails are there, and if you want to email us, you can. Just click on the about part of our channel, and then our emails are right there. I did, edit that in because I didn't think of that, but I edited that in since when we were on a hiatus because I thought it would be a good chance, just in case you guys don't watch the full episodes. But what will I say about season two is it'll be a lot more organized, and you guys will definitely pick up the difference when I say that. But anyways, so this clip is gonna be a little long just because again it was again a little vague, but this is us, talking about what blindness means to the three of us. Just because again, Mossam and Naeem were kind of long-winded. I may cut the clip a little short unless you want to get all three of our perspectives, Naeem, but again, that'll be a very
I'd
long
like
clip
to
to have.
get all three of our yeah, I'd like to get all three of our perspectives to show the nuanced and individual points of view, the individual experience of being a blind person. It's an individualized experience. Everyone sees it differently, some slightly differently, some radically differently. But I definitely wanted to get all three points of view to show the nuanced points of view, if that's possible.
All right.
Um,
I'll
yeah.
I'll do my best. All right. So here is number 8.
King of fries, maybe a large Coke, and just talk. And so I always like to ask folks, what is your story? Now, the reason I just bring up the word, blindness is because my story isn't my blindness. Dare I say it that way? For some, it may be. For others, it may have played a role, right? But my story, I'd like to think, well, I'll be naive to say would be the same if I recited it. That's naive. But I'd like to think would be pretty much similar, pretty much the same if I were cited. I don't say everything will be the same. I don't know that I would have met great folks like Mossam and Oscar. I may have, I don't know. But I think the question I pose here is, how do you view your story? And if you want to tell your story, what is your story? I don't know who wants to take it first.
We'll let Mossam take it first if she wants.
Oh, that's a heavy question. I love it.
Again, Naeem, do
I
you
think
really
you brought
want
up a really good point, Naeem. I think that everybody's story is different, and people definitely view characteristics that affect their story in different ways and with different magnitudes. I would definitely agree with you also that I think in my case, my blindness has definitely played a role in my story, but it is not my
I'll be
entire
right
story.
back.
And
I'm
I
gonna get a
think
drink of water.
for
So
many of
hopefully I'm
us,
not gone
it is
too
that
long for it
way.
to slip too long. But
I
again,
think
this is
it's
gonna be a long clip, so I'll be right
important
back.
to realize the opportunities and the connections that every characteristic about you brings about in your life. I know that I have met some wonderful people through my blindness. I've gone to events of the blind, events for the blind. I've been fortunate enough to serve in leadership positions within the blindness movement. And I think so many of those things have shaped me as a leader and as a person. And I think I may not have been able to find that type of opportunity anywhere else. It's hard to put words to it, honestly, because maybe type is not the right word, right? You can get leadership positions, you can get a life experience in so many different ways. But I think the one thing that stands out the most to me is the way I guess I really started to realize how we rally around one another. And I think for me, my blindness played a big role in showing me that. I think being a part of the NFB made me realize that there are so many like-minded people. There's so many people who have the drive and the passion to make the world a better place. And whether that's through advocacy, outreach, or even just telling stories just like this. I think it's such a wonderful opportunity for people to really get to know each other and to understand all of the different things that each of us is going through and all of the perspectives that we bring to the table. I think you guys would definitely agree that's one of the most important things. you can't truly understand any type of situation or any event without having multiple perspectives on it. And I think all of us bring a very unique perspective to the table. Whether or not blindness plays a part in that, you come to that table with your own set of experiences, and that's kind of the lens that you view all of your life experiences and your events through. And I think that when we I guess when we come together and realize that all of us view things through very different lenses, we get a brand new and very unique take on a lot of situations. And so, I guess this is a very, very long-winded way of saying that I think blindness has played a major role in my life. It's definitely not the only thing, but it has brought me some very, very interesting experiences that I'm so, so grateful to have had.
Yeah, I agree with you. Because my blindness and those who Naim and I posted our own stories on our lives, and my life when I was blind, because as a young kid, my family would always talk for me, be there for me. I didn't have to lift a finger. However, what changed, that was it just took one teacher. I had a vision teacher in 8th grade who, told me, having your family is great, but you want to be taken serious. You want to be treated normally, not just the blind guy that got the job because he was blind, or the blind guy that can do this. If you want to be normal, you need to start doing things the normal way. And that started off with, self-advocating for myself. So, just, that one teacher actually helped me, change my perspective on how, just being blind doesn't have to mean, I have people, speak for me or do things for me. I can do them too, just as, a normal person would. It would be, maybe a different way, but, the end goal is the same. All right. Naim, were you able to hear that right? Because again, I stepped out to get a bottle of water because I'm kind of thirsty because it's kind of warm up in my room. But what led you to pick this? It was gonna be your number one, but again, things had to be changed just because again, you did pick multiple clips for multiple episodes, and it would be easier to do just one in one fell swoop. So I guess the viewers and yourself will be surprised, even though you did pick your top 10, but you did give me the power to pick your number one. But what led you to pick this as your number 8, or one of your favorites for your top?
Everyone defines their own story.
Were you able to hear it while I stepped out? By the way, I hope, because I put the phone underneath the mic as much as I could.
Yeah, it was doing pretty well. We went through Mossum's, yours, and it's great. So there was a great deal of candid, honest, frank, heart-to-heart conversation there, and that's what meaningful discourse really is. Everyone has their story. Everyone has their experience. And it's their experience that's so individual and that forms who they are and what their character is and what they stand for. And there are too many folks out there in this world who think of groups in a monolithic sense, who place groups into groups. You got the blind, you got the sighted, you got the African American, you got the Latino, you got the Arab, you got the white, Caucasian. Why? Why? I'm a different blind person than Oscar is. Oscar's a different blind person than our dear friend Mossum is. And I am a different Arab than my older sister might be. Or I'm a different Arab than my cousin might be. And I vote differently than them even, dare I say it. But the point of the matter is, we all have to acknowledge that we can't run on painting a profile based on the common norms and stereotypes that have already been established. Each individual is their own individual. Oscar is himself, I am myself. We're very different people. Just because we share one similarity, and that's not even a similarity. My blindness and how I take and consume and conceptualize and contextualize my blindness is very different than how Oscar consumes, conceptualizes, and contextualizes his blindness. And the same applies to our dear friend and guest on that particular episode, Mossam, conceptualizes her blindness. But it's the nuance that has to be taken away. Now, there are certain universal themes and messages, and that's why groups connect with each other, and that's why they commiserate with each other's struggles and celebrate with each other's joys. But overall, we cannot make one profile out of such a vast group. No group is monolithic, no matter whether it's a racial or ethnic group or division, a religious group or division, ability group or division. It does not matter, or even a sexual identity, sexual orientation group or division. It does not matter what the group is. What matters is who is the individual, the tangible, lovable, huggable individual. Who is Naim? Who is Oscar? Who is Masom? And who are you, our dear viewers? Remember that it's your story that rules supreme in your life, and have it reign supreme in your life. It's always a nice and friendly, and never is an invasive. It's only a caring question to ask. Tell me your story. What's your story? And listen to their story. Appreciate their story. Connect to their story in an honest, authentic, organic, genuine, and human way. But the most important thing is treat their story respect and love and it deserves. Because just as you have a story, they have a story. Just as you're ready to hold your mom or dad tight, kiss them and hug them and tell them your story and hear their story. Everyone else in this world has a story and wants someone to hear their story. I don't know that they want someone to hug them and kiss them and care for them, but most people do want that as well. But I think the point is we have to care and love our fellow human beings, and we have to harness the power of love through empathizing with our fellow human beings, commiserating with our fellow human beings' sorrows, but also celebrating in the joys and happinesses of our fellow human beings. So let's go out there and appreciate each other's stories, appreciate each other's backgrounds, appreciate each other's individuality and identity, and respect each other as a collective body of humanity, not a blind human versus a sighted human, a white human versus a black human, a tall human versus a short human, a good looking human versus an ugly human. No, we're all human, but we're also all individual. It's never Naim versus Oscar. It's Naim and Oscar are two blocks of this whole beautiful wall of love and care and compassion and empathy known as humanity. Masam is just another individual in that loving and compassionate understanding of humanity. So let's go out there and respect each other and hear each other's stories out. Let's talk, let's chat, let's engage in discourse, let's care and love for each other. Even with COVID having us social distanced, let's remain emotionally close and together. I hope we can do that all of us. socially distant, emotionally together, emotionally united. I hope, wow, I, I feel the possibilities becoming probabilities if we work hard, and eventually we'll make it into a reality of harnessing the true value and power and positive energy of love, care, and compassion of humanity.
Dang, Naim, you seriously. This is the episode that I think I've ever seen you as serious can be. I'm listening to like all of our podcast episodes at the same time, and I'm listening to you, and I've never heard you so serious. Oh my god. I'm here like listening to us having fun on our episodes, and I on in one ear, and I'm listening to you like going talking like this. Man, it's a lot, man. I love this podcast with a passion. Oh my god. But anyways, Naeem, I'm sorry to interrupt. Do you have any ending thoughts before I take the floor for the next few minutes?
I just wanted to say the reason you love this podcast is because you love connecting with another human being, chatting with another human being, and engaging with another human being, and that's the power of humanity, of togetherness, of unity, and of love. So let's continue building the community and ultimately building humanity as a whole.
Naeem's fortune cookie answer for the day. You are no longer to get. You're not allowed to give fortune cookie answers for the rest of the episode.
If we can collectively enjoy fortune cookies, then that's fine. That's fine.
All
I
right.
love
So
fortune cookies. They taste good.
Yeah, they do. Um. So from one guest to the other, and you know what I just realized, Naeem? The two guests, I decided to put them back to back. Actually, Mossum is one. The episode that we did with Mossum is one of our highest viewed podcast episodes. But our second, or who's tied with Mossum, is the Gaspa. Now, you picked two moments from this episode. So let's view one of the clips that you picked from her episode. And again, I'm gonna give you a brief summary of what she was talking about. She was talking about an Italy experience. Unfortunately for her, her Italy experience didn't go as much as she planned, but let's call this the the I told you I can, because again, a lot of people thought that she wasn't going to be able to navigate Italy by herself. She had someone literally like be her shadow every single move. So she had a shadow every single day. She wasn't able to enjoy her trip with her friends. But let's look at her view on what she proved to those who doubted her. Let's take a listen. Oh.
10:48 p.m. Come on, video. Button. Video will be posted available on the bottom right of the screen. Out of this world amazing. So, but I really love to talk about Italy. What would you say are your highlights, B? I'm sorry I went on that tangent there for a second.
No worries. Let's see. So gosh, there were so many cool things. Probably definitely the biggest one was climbing. It's called the Cupola, and it's like this dome on top of St. Peter's Basilica, which is like St. Peter's Basilica is in the Vatican. And so, I mean, that was kind of cool, though, being in a country within a country, because the Vatican is still its own country. So that was cool. But so it was funny because, this 60-year-old lady, I was like, a bunch of us were planning on climbing to the top of the cupola after we went to Mass on the last Sunday that we were there. And she's like, I don't know if I can do that. I'm like, that's okay.
And they were like, "V, can you really do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm gonna do it." And so after, the mass got over, everyone was like, "All right, who's going here? Who's on top of the cupola?" And I was in that group. It's like, "All right, let's go." And so as we're all walking, I hear the adults like, "What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?" And finally, my professor's like, "All right, I'm gonna go with you guys." And I'm like, "Okay." And she's like in heels, and I'm thinking to myself, "Wow, you guys
isn't gonna end well.
No, she did it. She did it.
Oh, great. Just when we're getting to the meat. Hold on. Wi-Fi. Hold on. Again, I apologize.
It was a big success for me in a few ways. A, it was very physically. It was a.
Hey, what happened? Come on.
Oh my gosh! I think when I looked at my health app that day, I had climbed like 24 floors of stairs or something like that. It was high. So it was a big success for me because I've never been the most physically active. So it was like, oh my gosh, my body can do this. And it was also kind of like a, hey, adults, like you guys didn't think I could do it, and now I did it. And it was kind of also fun watching the adults kind of freak out a little bit because it was finally, I was like, finally I can ruffle your feathers. But I do have some vision, and it was a stunning view. It was gorgeous. It was really cool. So that was definitely a highlight.
Are you afraid of heights, by the way?
Not really, no. I'm afraid of speed.
Okay. All right. Naim, if you don't mind, I'd rather take this one first, and then again, I'd rather just so that way, because I know that you, again, I enjoy listening to you, and since I'm queuing up the episodes, I guess you can go last, but and that'll give me some time. But again, this is examples of blind people not being treated the way that they should, and it's unfortunate. And here in this example, we can go on and on about my experience, but this is all about V's perspective. And it's one thing to go and feel it at a high school, because you have 4 years, to prove people wrong. Here, not that much time. And not to say anything, but I don't know about you, Naim, but if I'm going to study abroad, it's an opportunity to, not be with your family, experience something that your family probably, unless they're made of dough, or, gold, money, or, what have you, they will, but, most people, are not fortunate enough to have that experience. So, it was an opportunity for her to, go to a country, study abroad, go to a country, that's awesome, Italy. Who doesn't want to go to Italy? I remember, that was one of my sister's dream spots when we were going to go to Europe. But study abroad, but not, study abroad, but have someone, have an adult, a 50, 60, what have you, 40, 50, 60, have just someone have someone on you, like check in on you every single second. Are you okay? Are you okay? You don't want that. You don't. You want to, soak up the experience. You don't want your memories to be, I love the country, I just didn't love my experience. You're there for the experience, to experience the country and the experience. So this proves that V, it didn't turn out the way that she wanted it to, but at the end, at the very tail end, she was able to prove herself, kind of, sort of, with her, climbing up the stairs of, again, I don't want to butcher it, so name correct, give me the name whenever it's your turn to speak. But this is proof that blind people, all they need is your confidence, your vote of confidence, and belief in themselves. Because and here's the thing, V had a lot of that. She had a lot of that. It was confidence. A lot of people didn't have the confidence in her, and in turn, in turn, that led to them having, self-confident issues. Or if, the saying is, they'll have, blood on their hands, so to speak. But, that is my take. Blind people, all they need is, confidence in themselves and, support from friends and family and, if school staff is there, staff as well, so that way they can succeed. So that is my number one take, or my take on this clip that you picked for one of these clips. So Naim, you have the floor.
These words are so powerful.
By the way, I
And
finally understand what you were saying. It does not sound like fee at all.
yeah, but these words are, so powerful. She perpetuates her own reality through believing in herself. And, you know, once you put off that self confidence, that aura of self confidence, the whole world around you, the energy, positive, confident energy you give off, is projected onto all those who come into your sphere, come into your onto your path, come into your sphere and feel your energy, feel your aura. And I think V exemplifies that best by using the power of her own self confidence and perpetuating that confidence for all to consume around her. And that energy, that positive energy, is so powerful. And it's only really harnessed from within. And she accomplished the goal, she accomplished the task at hand, and she, by all means, enjoyed the reward at the end, getting to see the stunning views at the top, getting to enjoy being in the Holy and Sacred Vatican, which is a very important place for all Catholics, but also being able to be and to take in the majestic views. It's powerful. So powerful. The word. Yeah.
Continue talking now, but yeah, because
the only real word is the positive, powerful energy.
Are you okay, Naim? Because again, your serious tone is not you.
No, it's just those words rung true for me. They struck me to the core, and that's definitely a lot of positive I was able to gather. And I don't want to mess up the value of what V had to offer. I think she speaks for herself there. She definitely speaks for herself there. It's pretty cool. It makes me want to travel more. I've been to Cancun, I've been elsewhere, but it makes me want to travel some more. So, have you traveled alone much, Oscar?
No. The only place I've been by myself is Florida. It was for the convention for
Yeah, the National
2018.
Federation of the Blind 2018 National Convention in Orlando, Florida. Very beautiful place, by the way. Amazing place. So yeah, I mean, I think it means a lot to see that someone was living out their travel dream to its fullest, and as a result, educated folks by showing her own self-confidence and projecting that onto all those around her, all those in her sphere. You know, she gave off positive vibes, as some of us Gen Zers, some of us Zoomers and Millennials might say. Positive vibes. I don't know. It's been a long day of classes. Maybe that's why, as you claim, I sound serious. But yeah, I mean, some of what we touched on really cuts to the root of my
I'm sorry
blindness
that I'm.
philosophy.
Again, this is why I think we need a secondary person on here, just because it's taking me a while to find the next clip.
No problem.
Is there, again, I think you need some goofy time, man. Say something goofy. Well, I'm looking for this clip.
Ooh. What was that thing we were talking about the other day? COVID-19, and how it, we don't know where it came from, but we suspect it was a coronavirus that started in bats and made the zoonotic jump to humans. And I was explaining, we don't know, of course, we don't know if it's culturally acceptable to say this, but I was explaining in a joking way, man, those Chinese people eat bats. That's how we got COVID-19. Well, we know Arabs ain't gonna cause the next COVID-19 because all they ever eat is lamb vid-19. If that comes out, then we're talking something else. But I know in Arab countries they had MERS, Middle East Respiratory System, and Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. And I think I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, viewers, and correct me if I'm wrong, Oscar, I think I heard that MERS, the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, made its zoonotic jump from camels to humans, and Arabs enjoy camel's milk. There are some folks, very, very small segment of the population, who actually eat camels, I heard, but I know Arabs enjoy camel's milk. Mm-hmm. Have you ever had any meat product that has caused you any pause ever, Oscar? Are you considering becoming a vegetarian after coronavirus?
No.
I know some people are because, the whole animal to human zoonotic jump thing. So what did you grub on today?
Oh, hold on. Okay, so I have a question.
Yes.
So you're the one that because you did LCR. Let's just call it that.
LCAR, yeah, that was in the middle of our
Yeah, I
dating
know
etiquette
that.
conversation.
Yeah, I know, but that was the beginning or middle or the end of that conversation? Because I'm starting. I think I'm about to start that beginning.
I suspect it was somewhere in the beginning. I don't remember, but I know we discuss it in passing. It's a little acronym I hope you guys can take away from this episode and from Naim's Dating 101. I don't know. I don't know if I'm a certified dating instructor, but yeah, I can't remember exactly where it was in our discussion, but I think it fits into the context of the discussion.
Hold on, I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, no problem. So,
I mean, do you say the letters LCR, or does that stand for something else?
Yeah, no, it stands for something else. I don't know if I ever used the acronym LCAR, but
yeah, that's kind of hard then. Dang it, Naim.
Should I just paraphrase the takeaway then?
Oh. Mhm.
It seems he found it. Did you find it?
Do me a favor and text me what it means.
Okay, let me do that. Wow, this is us using this is the plus of being live.
Yeah, again, I'm just listening to the entire combo. Because I'm in the convo. I just need to know where in the convo.
Yeah, one moment. Here, I'm gonna send you.
Again, people may have gripes about how we do this episode, but at this point, I don't even care anymore. Oh boy. Wait a second.
Here you are. I just sent you the true meaning of all those letters. Elcar.
Oh. I mean, you should have told me this from the beginning, man, instead of giving me the LCAR acronym.
Yeah, I probably should have. Would have helped you out, huh?
Exactly.
Well, maybe the acronym is not as catchy as I thought it was, because you didn't remember what it
I
stood
mean,
for.
it's
LOL.
catchy, but I was like, what?
I can't remember where I picked that up, but it really helped me out. So I want to pass the message along to everyone else.
Oh, I got it. You actually did say that. You actually did say the acronym.
Hmm.
Got it.
Huh. Found it?
Yeah, I got it. Finally.
Amazing.
Again, sorry,
Thank you for
folks.
your
Jason,
patience,
if you're
Oscar.
watching this, I know that you're our hardest critic.
Thank you for your constructive feedback, Jason.
But we gotta do what you gotta do. I know that we wouldn't have minded of you being our guest host. It's just that again, Naim has to kind of wake up early for school and conflicting schedules, and I got other projects to handle as well. So we're trying to get this out of the way. But without further ado, here's what are we on? 7, 6. Hold on.
6, I
10, 9,
suspect.
8, 7. Number 6.
When I've done that to them. But all in all, I think I would say, yeah, LCAR is very important for me. LCAR is an abbreviation I wish I could give credit to where I found it. I can't remember where. But listen, confirm, appreciate, reciprocate. And that's what I look for in every conversation. I want to listen and be listened to. So, you're sitting here talking, V, for example. I should be listening to points you're making. Then I should confirm. Okay, V, so you sounded like you had a bounce in your step when you talked about the sports writing. Do you have a passion for sport? Confirm that. And if your answer is yes, appreciate that. I don't know much about sports, V, but enlighten me, inform me. And what are your favorite sports? Then, once you provide the answer, I reciprocate with either, hey, thank you for informing me. It was great to know that. Or, ooh, tell me more. I think I'm already liking. Or, I've watched a few soccer games here and there with Oscar. So that's the style I look for. I'm not much of a small talker at all. So it's always been that type of style for me. So that's what I look for in an ideal partner. Now,
All right. So, by the way, when have you ever been a small talker, Naim? Anyways, why did you pick up that acronym? Because again, I was kind of taken aback. Again, I agree with every sentiment, of that L card. Because again, if you don't listen, without listening, you really can't do any of the rest of the three letters. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So listening is always key, and that's the main lesson that I pick up. So floor is yours, Naim. And while I do that, I guess I can queue up the next one. I'm sorry if I'm, having you talk a lot. Just again, it's just us two, and
No problem, no problem. I love talking. It's the fundamental of any meaningful, deep, fruitful conversation. And I joked earlier saying that'll be your good dating 101. The best way to really attract anyone
seriously,
is to
man,
show that you care for what they have to say.
change your tone a bit, man.
The best way is
Can you do that for me? Change your tone. This tone isn't doing it for me. I've never called you boring, but you're boring me today.
the best way to put it really is to have a back and forth that means something, that builds on itself and that grows, and to show the other person participating in the conversation that you care and you value what they have to say makes them feel important, and they'll do the same in turn to you and for you. So that makes any successful conversation overall, but more importantly, makes any first date lead to a second. Just a tip and trick for our friends.
Keep talking, Naim.
Or
Wow.
friends all over the world who need the inspiration to have a successful and meaningful conversation with anyone.
Are you okay, Naim? Seriously, like, are you gonna die on me live?
No, all is well, all is well.
Again, man. Come on, man. Stay with me.
Yeah, I'm still here. Of course I'm here.
So how has college been, man? I know that you were busy.
Yeah, it's just been the first couple days. Really tires and longer than out. It does a number on someone reading 5 syllabi, I guess. Syllabi, is that the plural for syllabus?
I mean, what is it? Have you been able to get like pick up like what your? Because I think you and I talk about your professors' personalities whenever you meet them in class or whatever. So
Yeah, my international relations theory professor is very serious. My digital path is very laid back. My public speaking professor is very ahead of the game. My philosophy of art professor is very curious and wants to know and learn. And my globalization and sociology of global affairs professor is serious and to the point. That's what I've picked up thus far, of course. Things can change with time. I had the great conversation about being a blind individual, blind student, and all of them have been great thus far. So it's a good sign.
come on, man, change your tone up a little bit. Come on, man. Where's the where are you? Seriously, this is not Naim. I don't want this Naim. I want fun Naim. I want the Naim that
Yeah, no,
always, is energetic on our podcast episodes, like I'm listening to right now.
yeah, no, totally, yeah. Just trying to make sure we look out for. So, for all our viewers who don't know, I have a younger brother, and he's blind just as myself, but he also multiple disabilities. He has some. He's on the spectrum, the autism spectrum. He's intellectually disabled, and yeah, it really helps his emotional balance with the autism spectrum to get a good night's rest. And um, so we want to do right by him and do right by everyone else in the household by ensuring he gets the rest he so deserves. So just making sure that I don't get too carried away and loud at this hour of slumber for him, seeming that he's already having some difficulty going off to sleep tonight. So I don't want to be more of the reason why he can't fall asleep. But no, we all look out for each other, and
Okay, so I
if
have a
that's what I
question.
can do, yeah.
Sam Cooke for
Same,
the next
yeah.
episode. Where does that take place? Because I'm in the wedding discussion.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the wedding discussion where I talk about the kind of music I'd like to hear at my wedding.
Okay.
Or I think we start talking about Al Green and different folks, Jason, myself, and uh, our guest Zoe, and I think you were there.
Yeah, I'm like, again, this episode is not it's not long, but it feels long with the way that we talked on
Understandable.
air and then off air.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I mean, I guess because I don't think I'm going to be able to get a hold of you for the rest of the week. What are your expectations for this semester? I know that you're back at because dealing with Nova and dealing with Mason is going to be something different.
It's different.
So yeah, it's different. So what are your expectations for Mason versus your expectations for Nova? And
Max.
what changes
Yeah.
are you gonna make?
More committed. I have to definitely be more organized, and I really have to earn it, not find loopholes and ways I can work my way around things, but earn the A I so desire, gobble it up, but take it with intentionality and purpose. And, the first semester is probably going to be the hardest because it's transferring upward. But the goal is to move up and grow where possible. And going on to Mason is indicative of that spirit of working for what you're worth, earning what you're worth. Nova, Northern Virginia Community College, also embodied that. However, the small class, 100,
How
200 level courses
by
were
the way,
things I could slide by in.
how many people are in the whatever what is it called? It's not Zoom, it's Blackboard Access, I think you said. What is it called?
Blackboard Ultra, Blackboard Collaborate Ultra.
Yeah, how many students are on the how many tune in?
Yeah, I don't know. I just tune in. I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's ways you can look, but they all ended up moving to Zoom because Blackboard Collaborate was hard to navigate yesterday. So ultimately, everyone ended up moving to Zoom. So hopefully, we're gonna do lots of Zoom tomorrow. We had some Zooms today that I had to attend that were for different segments of the class because some of the stuff that happened yesterday. But we're testing out all the new 21st century technology that's out there to help us navigate this post-pandemic era of consuming academic material virtually. So it's pretty cool stuff. There's lots of growing to be done on everyone's part. But I think this is going to allow for greater innovation in technology and the technologies we use. And it's also going to allow for deeper opportunity for these tech startups, web developers, and programs, companies to flourish by providing services that the consumer benefits from, and in return are incentivized to provide the highest quality of service to their consumers. So Zoom is growing.
Oh, I got. Wow, don't you really think that? Man, this is why again I think we need a secondary host because again, not saying no disrespect, man, but you're more eccentric than this, and you were eccentric when on air, right, 5 minutes. But anyways, I get it. You got your family issues. I get it. But with that being said, so we moved on from we want to thank V and Mossum for being good guests on our channel for season one. Again, season two will not have them return just yet. Come to think of it, we should have because I just thought of a good topic that we should talk about. But I guess we can put that for season three or any of our episodes that we try to film flop. We can call those up and get them to come back and do that episode. But with that being said, we are now at 5. What are we? 5 now? 9.
Yeah, I believe so. Number 5.
All right. So number 5, and this is Mumbo Jumbo. The next 2 clips are taken from Mumbo Jumbo. So take a listen.
I think for me, I would do different like African American traditions, like jumping over the broomstick, like my parents did. I think I was more confident in what I wanted when I was like 5 than I am now. But I know I want like some form of.
So this is a smaller clip, but Naim, what led you to pick? Again, I think that this was. I was shocked when you picked this one. So
Well,
what led you to pick this one?
yeah, for sure. Uh, Cultural enlightenment. I learned a different tradition from a different cultural background, a different practice. And Zoe, I know she quickly went through this, but she made a good point. Sometimes we're more confident in what we want and what we envision for ourselves when we're young, eager, and ready. And as life roughs us up sometimes, and as life blurs our perception sometimes, and as life forces us to sometimes become more cynical, pessimistic, sometimes salty and bitter, we lose sight of our original ambitions, our original hunger, our original childlike eagerness for positivity, optimism, happiness, growth, motivation, clear vision. There's nothing better than a child's sharply defined understanding of what they want, what they crave, what they desire, and what they envision for themselves. Never, never separate yourself from your dreams of childhood, the dreams that you have formed when you were a child, because those ultimately are the dreams that will be the most meaningful, the most instrumental, and the ones that really cut through and poke at more than just a surface, more than just a surface of who you are, where your passions lie, what you strive to be, and what you really care about. Your consciousness, your power, your strength, your energy, your positivity, all stem, all stem from the dreams, ambitions, and realities and perceptions established by you and you alone in your childhood. So I think she raises a very important point that's worth really pausing and focusing on. Is the dreams we had as children that really identify, embody, and exemplify our truest, deepest, most honest, organic, authentic, genuine passions. What is your biggest childhood dream, Oscar?
Dude, I'm sorry, but I'm not. Again, I'm listening to our episodes and trying to listen to you at the same time. So since we're doing the top 10, I guess we can, while I listen to this, I can be a little bit more long-winded as well. So I guess it's my bad. But again, we're gonna get a lot of heat for this episode, Naeem. But it is what it is. Um,
We so appreciate constructive feedback.
But again, I was surprised that this was your number one. And, after listening to your reasoning, yeah, I get it, cultural differences. I guess because of my Hispanic. Let me put it this way, Naim. My religious background, and for those, I'm Jehovah's Witness, but I'm not gonna get into the whole entire, just to avoid any, controversy. But I my family did weddings very differently than what is accustomed um in the community. So I never, and I think it did touch on it in the Mumbo Jumbo episode that the only wedding that I attended that was that fell under those guidelines was a wedding that I just didn't find any interest in going because I wasn't as close to the people that I am now as I don't know if that makes sense, but that it's unfortunate, but because my sister's wedding was it was actually a nice wedding. In fact, it was nice and cool, and you got dances here. It was just very bland and meh. My mom's party, was wild, very wild, and I think I do touch on that in the mumbo jumbo. So again, I guess different cultures, have different weddings. I think you talked about your ideal wedding, even though again, you say that it's going to be a 3 or 4 day event. Naeem, I'm sorry, but I'm going to attend just one of those days, not all four, just because I don't love you that much. Hence the reason why you're going to have your own wife. We love you for that, but anyways, that is my take on that clip. But anything that you would like to add so that we can carry this out? Wow, yo.
Well, the wedding is a very special and family experience. And really, the couple who are getting married define what their wedding's gonna look like. But the atmosphere and the energy and the vibes of the wedding are passed on to all the attendees, all the consumers of the festivities of a wedding. And it's that great power that comes in the decision of how the marrying and celebrating couple decide to engage their guests, their audience, their attendees, is what's going to stick in the memory positively, hopefully positively, in the memories of all the guests based on the ambiance, the atmosphere, and the vibes and energy the wedding hosts allow and embody and exude throughout the party for their guests and with their guests. And of course, it's their time, of course, to celebrate and take in the powerful moment that is them joining in the union of marriage, the blessed union of marriage. But it's also the power of sharing in the celebration of true love, of reaching that genuine pinnacle of happiness that only marriage can establish.
All right, Naeem. So I know that you picked Sam Cooke as one of the clips, but I'm gonna get as close as I can get to that.
Yeah, I mean, it may fall perfectly into the power of love and marriage, the pinnacle. But I think we want to talk about the power of music, the power of cultural music here.
All right.
So, yeah.
Give me 1 second. All right.
I enjoy listening to Al Green, Doris Duke, Etta James. I think we brought up earlier, but you brought up a good point, Zoe and Jason. what is everyone's like maybe top wedding song or top song that they think will befit their wedding?
So first, if you don't mind. All right. So again, it's not what you wanted, but again, with in the interest of time, because again it's already kind of late. In fact, it's 11:35. But talk a little bit about what you actually, because you did say something about what was the character, or what was the singer? Give me a second. I had it here in my notes. Um, Sam Cooke.
Yeah. So Sam Cooke's music always tells a powerful story of hope, of growth, of perseverance, of resilience, of power, of empowerment, self-empowerment, and the empowerment of one's circumstances. And I think you bring up a great point here when you show this clip that you did, Oscar, is establishing theme,
By the way,
tone.
that is number 4.
Yeah, establishing the beauty of one's wedding by putting the thought into their wedding song, by putting the thought into their the primary message they want to send in their night of celebration and love. But Sam Cooke and Al Green does this, and Etta James as well, and Doris Duke, folks I mentioned earlier. Amongst others, you also have B.B. King. You also have the Temptations. You have later Luther Vandross and Boys to Men. These people in their music embody a rich and wholesome culture of rhythm, of thick meaning and story and melody, that tastiness of blues and jazz, that embodiment of the soul and the soulful kenosis. As Dr. Cornel West best puts it, the soulful enriching, the stories that, although on the surface level may sound sad and dreary, jolt one into a mood of hope and effort, effort that will lead to prosperity, empowerment that is as a result of one's circumstances, drive as a result of one's hunger and ambition to strive for better. And that resonates with me. That resonates with my desire to be the best version of Naim as possible and to work on that best version of Naim. And that's why those are the artists and their melodies and their tunes and their lyrics that really prop me up to go out there kicking, to go out there strong, hard, ready to fight, persevere, prevail, and prove resilience. My idea of independence and individualism, the strength of my self-advocacy and self-creation of my own being, my own character, my own me, Naim, and empowerment. The empowerment that comes as a result of me building my own frame, building my own reality, empowering myself given my circumstances, and using my circumstances to my advantage. Empowerment is the greatest takeaway from all this. And I think that is a great underlying theme in most of these artists, all of these artists mentioned. And then they have always seem to have the best voices. Etta James,
I
Doris
don't.
Duke.
You're gonna hate me for that. I don't know who those two people are. I don't know if it's because I'm not Americanized enough.
You should give yourself a little bit of a listen to Etta James as you drift off to sleep tonight. Her lyrics and her voice will make you rest, and then tomorrow when you get up in the morning, her lyrics and her voice will empower you to have the best tomorrow, the best Thursday you can have, and be the best Oscar you can be tomorrow, hopefully.
Alrighty then. So my take on again, I don't want to just because we're literally at the home stretch time. So again, I do want to be respectful of your time, because again, I'm telling you constantly throughout this episode that you're boring me to death. But again, I understand the circumstances that you are currently in. Again, viewers, I hope that you understand where he's coming from. He's more entertaining than what he is right now. It's just again, we're filming this, late at night. Naim, I understand that we wanted to do this early. Things may have happened, but again, I guess what my take before we move on to number three is I gotta find artists tailored to my wife and myself. Unfortunately, I'm not nitpicky to what I dance as long as clean, not nothing, because again, wild things have happened. But you know, um, yeah, like I just find a song. Whenever I find that special someone. Ooh, that's a good title. That special someone. You know, um, find get together with that someone and find something that you'll agree upon. Because it's not just one individual effort. It's the both of ours. But with that said, let's move on to number three, and let's preface this with. Again, Naim, I think you wanted the Wild Wild West theory, but this is how you planted the seeds for the Wild Wild West theory. So number three is this clip from Tech Talk with Jason, our first episode.
Now, I think I see where you guys are going with this. I agree with you, but how can we do something like this, implement something like this, without then infringing one on our rights and two on a company's right to make capital? Because then we should, if we want to make it a public utility, which is what I am arguing. I'm arguing in favor of a public utility. You got like Facebook. Let's take YouTube for example. YouTube had a lawsuit with PragerU. PragerU is a conservative online video platform where they profess their opinions on different social, political, constitutional, and legal matters. I, for the most part, don't agree with most of what they have to offer, because most of what they have to offer is hocus pocus, let's be honest. Look into PragerU and I'll be able to dispel arguments like there's no tomorrow. But they had a legitimate court case, I don't know if it's ongoing, against YouTube, because YouTube took down one of their videos or something like that. And look, on the premise, hey, YouTube does that when you put up inappropriate content. PragerU argues, it wasn't inappropriate content. It was our opinion being expressed. It was free speech being expressed. So the question becomes, why does YouTube have the protections of a public forum like the public square? Why does YouTube have the protections of a public utility? They have the protections of letting people express their free speech. So YouTube cannot be sued for anyone's individual opinion. Yet, however, YouTube goes ahead and decides, okay, well, I don't particularly side with this view. Now, I don't know if it's YouTube or if it's a bot. Maybe it's a bot and not a human. Who knows? Takes it down, and there's nothing necessarily harmful about it, but it's free speech. Why did it get taken down when they're not gonna be eligible to be sued or taken to court for something that a YouTuber has and they post on YouTube? In that regard, YouTube is acting like a private company, like a publisher. publishers have the right to take down their contributors and their editors' content, right? Like the New York Times or the Washington Post. The publisher has the right to take down, let's say, Tom Cotton's op-ed in the New York Times, because they are a publisher. They are not a free speech bastion. They're not a free speech forum. They are a publisher. They're private. So YouTube has to make a decision. And I know I sound like I'm hammering here on YouTube, but I think all these big tech companies have to have this conversation. Do we want to subscribe to the positives and negatives of being a public utility, being a public forum, being a free speech open area, a public square? Or do we want to subscribe to the positives and negatives of being a private publisher? And there are the positives and negatives of both. A publisher has the ability to put up and take down whatever their contributors and editors put up there, and that's no problem. They have that authority. They have that control. They are private. A public forum does not have the right to intervene as long as it's not hate speech and as long as it's not threatening someone's life in the immediate, as long as it's not an imminent present danger. Then they don't have the right to take it down. Yet they have the legal protections not to be sued if something that someone posts up on their platform is something someone else does not agree with. So basically, they're trying to get the best of both worlds. One, they want the ability to have those legal protections that don't come with being a publisher. A publisher can.
Okay, again, we're trying to advertise to watch the full episode, so we're not gonna, continue because again, Naim does go on a 20-minute rant. But Naim, this sows the seed again for the Wild Wild West theory. You didn't name it until after this whole entire spew. Why? What stuck out to you? What stuck out to you, and what led you to pick this clip on for And I think that this is actually perfect number 3, to be honest, or 2 or 3. Could have been in year 1, but again, with interest of time.
So I lay out the premise of my argument. I think it also gives me the opportunity to explain here what I was trying to say, and I said it in too many words in this example. Much later at the very end of the episode, I say it in a much more concise, more summarized, more healthy, and actually meaningful way by just explaining that YouTube exercises the privilege of a publisher in that they take down the content of their contributors. They take down the content created by YouTubers while they have the power of absolving themselves of the content of their contributors, of YouTube reaping the rewards of being a public utility, a public forum. So how can they absolve themselves and take the positives from being a public forum, then use their power, exercise their authority, and take the positives of being a publisher and try to join the best of both worlds while throwing away all the negatives. So that was the point in terms of free speech I was trying to highlight. And I end up in this circle where I'm being redundant and I repeat the points I already made, and it's just a vicious circle. It's messy. And this is why I need Toastmasters. This is why I need public speaking courses, of which I'm taking one this semester. This is why I need all that. And I saw myself shine, prove that strength is possible at the very, very end of this same episode that y'all should check out the first Tech Talk, by just articulating what I was trying to articulate there in a much more polished way. Later on in this particular Tech Talk episode, I get into data and how I want the data sold and handled and bought with and all that stuff, and companies have right to capital and all that nonsense. But that's veering off the course of what I was trying to say and what I was trying to argue, the rights of free speech, and how these big social media platforms should, in a more healthy way, become and subscribe to the positives and negatives that come with being a public utility. Being separated from the content of content creators, YouTubers, contributors, but also not having the power or not having the ability to exercise the power of removing the content of these contributors, content creators, YouTubers, and so on. So that's something I need to work on, get that strength, and in figuring out how to better articulate my arguments, polish them. And it's a strength I can attain based on the very end of that particular Tech Talk episode there. And in that episode, I steamrolled Jason and Oscar so many times, getting caught up in the weeds of this argument, falling into the tumbleweed, if you will, getting caught up in all that stuff. So I just wanted to highlight where I can grow, where I could strengthen my argument skills and polish them, and where they're a weakness now.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Again, I'm very close to your number two pick, but you know, like that episode again, you did kind of, even though you kind of did, and I've told you this, jokingly and passing, but you kind of did steamroll us in the fact that you would say, okay, you would go on your rant, you're like, I want to get you guys' opinion on this, and before Jason and I could respond, you would literally before you start or something like that, I believe this and this and this. You've come a long way since then, because I remember, our second episode with Jason, and then our last episode, or our last Tech Talk episode with Jason, was a lot more organized, a lot more structured than the first one. Again, I guess it was, our feeling out process. Jason and I were, feeling each other up. And Jason, I know if you watch this episode, you're gonna think, no, I did not mean that. Because again, Jason and I didn't know each other that well. Not like what we're doing now. Like, by the way, guys, again, I make a few appearances. Well, Naim and I both make a few appearances on Jason's channel. He hasn't posted the stuff that him and I have done just yet. Again, because everyone's it's back to school. But check him out. I'll definitely put the channel the link to his channel down below. Political Podcast is the name of his channel. His name is Jason Alamio. If you want info on what the government is up to, politics, Jason's your guy. Naim and I may not agree and disagree with politics, but if you don't care for what he says, I just use it because I don't care much about politics. I just use it just to stay informed. So if you want to just stay informed of what what's going on politics wise, check him out. Again, that's my what I use his channel mainly for. But Naim, what is your take on, again, I guess to kill more time, because I'm close but not fully there yet for the next clip, for Jason's episodes, or clips in his channel, since we're shouting him out at the present moment.
So you guys should definitely check out Jason's channel. There's discussions him and I have on foreign policy. We plan on having more in the future, hopefully. Because that's actually my wheelhouse. That's what I'm studying right now, and that's what I've always been interested in. Global affairs. My concentration is Middle East, North Africa. And Jason is always ready to learn, ready to ask questions, and I am always ready to learn and ask questions of him and his, political leanings, political views, but also the stuff he has to offer. And he offers more than just politics talk on his YouTube channel. He offers information in the way of entertainment, news, tech news, sports news. Sports guru, though, is right here, Oscar, really. He keeps me up to date with football and soccer. But there's a plethora of content that can be found when you guys check Jason Alamio out. He also is a small business owner. He runs his own access technology company, AT Solutions. So he teaches folks access technology. Again, we've had Jason Alamino on a few episodes. He really did inform me in our Tech Talk series where I learned plenty of stuff about different aspects of tech, thanks to himself and Oscar paired teamed together to inform me of great tech stuff. So definitely check him out. Check out our videos. We talk about Trump and his financial ties to Kamala Harris between 2011 2014. We talk about our thoughts on Kamala Harris being Joe Biden's vice presidential pick. We talk about different foreign policy issues like Lebanon and other stuff. And we do plan on doing a reaction video to a discussion between Sagar and Jetty of the Hill and Ryan Grimm of The Intercept on the Israel lobby in Congress and different factions of the pro-Israel lobby that cater to the Democratic Party. So yeah, so check out Jason's podcast and YouTube channel, and there's many great stuff to be had. And Jason, I'll be in contact with you to get on some future episodes. I know I've been a little MIA preparing for school and whatnot, but would love to help out where I can. Thank you.
All right. So with that said, let's move on to your number 2, and this is taken from Jason, our second episode with Jason. This is actually not a tech-related discussion. This is more of talking about Chick-fil-A, KFC, and what was the other one? Popeyes. Let's take a listen.
It's good. It really is good. But Chick-fil-A's always had a good sandwich for years and years and years, and there haven't been those kinds of reactions.
No.
Do you disagree, Jason?
Oh, absolutely. Chick-fil-A is one of the worst restaurants I've ever had. You know, it's not... Number one, they don't support the LGBTQ community. They were donating to the Chick-fil-A Foundation, which donates to the LGBTQ community, or anti-LGBTQ community. And so that's the first problem I have. Number two, their food isn't that good. You know, their fries, I can give them a little credit on, but just not a good look in terms of their politics, but also their food is just... Now, I will say...
What about their milkshakes? Because their milkshakes for me taste kind of natural.
Yeah, their milkshakes are good. But I'll tell you what, when I had their large Oreo milkshake, I felt something in my clothes. I gotta tell you, I felt something. I had a pep in my step. That was a good... I'm not sure if I can curse here, but a good shake, a very good shake. It was, you know... But Chick-fil-A sandwiches aren't that good. Their chicken isn't that good. I give it to Popeyes. I think the KFC ones, the mashed potatoes, the gravy, the mac and cheese, it's okay. It just tastes processed. It tastes frozen. Whereas Popeyes, it really tastes like, you know, like it, you know, to me at least. And the gravy tastes better. And I wish they would put a little bit more, but I think it absolutely tastes better. And their chicken isn't greasy as heck. It's not, you know, it's good and it's natural. It's some. I like Popeyes a lot. I hate the fact that when you order from them, they take like 7 days to deliver to you.
What I don't like.
All right. So why did you pick this certain clip for your top 10?
There's plenty. The passion, you just hear the authenticity, the organic love for food in all of our voices. You definitely hear it in Jason for sure. To a lesser extent, myself and yourself, but we both know how much we do love food as well. It's organic, it's true, it's real. And you feel the energy, the positive vibes. I think that's the theme of the night. You feel the connectivity there. I want to also take this opportunity to highlight a point I make a little later in that one segment there, so y'all should check it out. I was saying that food and politics don't go hand in hand for me. If I like the food, I'll eat it. But Jason raises a very valid point in his argument that he just doesn't care for the food at Chick-fil-A either. And I find later, in doing self-reflection, I found out later that, I'm very much a supporter of the boycott, divestment, sanctions movement. And no, I am not anti-Semitic. And some of that involves boycotting different food establishments such as Starbucks to a degree. So, being a proponent of BDS, I cannot, as I do later, and I realize it was kind of hypocritical in its own right, I cannot criticize Jason for not wanting to go to Chick-fil-A for political reasons. I do appreciate, though, he highlights his argument with he just also doesn't care so much for the food at Chick-fil-A. And he also highlights his reasons for not caring much for KFC, but it's well thought out. And I just love the passion that was in his voice for, the organic love of food that I heard in Jason's voice. And I hope there are many more food discussions to come in the future of our podcast and so on. And I hope to further discuss and further evaluate the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement and what it's all about in a later clip, either on my channel or with Jason or elsewhere, as I'm working on some really good content for my channel that will be coming up in the near future, hopefully. So look out for that. That might be one of the bits there, is explaining what the BDS movement really stands for and why we are not at all anti-Semitic. But yeah, I heard the passion. I heard the love for food. I don't know if you felt the same way, Oscar, but Jason really thought out his answer. It was all thought out. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I see, sometimes I understand, Jason is a guy that, gets passionate about politics. I know that sometimes you do, but when it comes to food is food, man. That's the reason why I'm the type of person, I think that even, with my, my stance on, even if I didn't have, even if I wasn't, even if I was into politics, which again, I'm not, I would think I wouldn't care, if, so, if this, restaurant would, support this and this. I don't care, that's, their, that's their business, that's their life. It's not mine. It's not mine. In fact, if you wouldn't have, and I think you and I have already had this discussion, if I wouldn't have known that Starbucks and Chick-fil-A don't support the LGBTQ, or, what is it? Starbucks doesn't support what, the Israeli government, is it, or something like that? Something along those lines? If I wouldn't have known those factors,
yeah, Starbucks has
would have
financially endorsed
I would
Israel.
I would have carried on with the rest of my life. Like like politics like that. Just I don't care for them. That info wouldn't have added or subtracted to my life.
You either enjoy or don't enjoy the food. Like if you enjoy Chick-fil-A, you wouldn't care if I told you they supported causes that are anti-LGBTQ. If you enjoy Starbucks, you wouldn't care if I told you they financially endorse and financially support in direct and indirect fashion. Direct and indirect, let me make sure I'm clear, fashion. They support the Israeli government. That wouldn't add or subtract for you, is what you're saying. If you don't like Chick-fil-A, you just don't like Chick-fil-A. Or if you don't like Starbucks, you just don't like Starbucks because of the food or the drink or the beverage. Am I understanding correctly?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's respectable. And like I said, Jason bolsters his argument anyway by saying he doesn't care for the food at Chick-fil-A. He doesn't care for Chick-fil-A food.
Yeah, and sometimes I do get where he's coming from. Like, they don't, you're gonna hate me for saying this, but they could be more creative. Like, just having a bland chicken. I'm sorry. And here's the thing: if you want to add, like, any cheese, or you can get the deluxe. Don't get me wrong, But I don't know, is it just me, man, or vegetables at Chick-fil-A, like, they just are so dry that you don't even care for the deluxe. You might as well just get that thing plain. Um, Cause I remember I used to get the deluxe and I used to like take out the lettuce and the tomato. And my dad was like, "Why are you taking out the healthy stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, I understand it's healthy, but it's just bleh. Like it makes it even worse. If vegetables don't taste right."
Yeah, Chick-fil-A is very basic. I don't go to Chick-fil-A looking for a gourmet meal. I'll say what's really good from them are their little nuggets, their strips, or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Where you just enjoy the chicken for the chicken flavor,
You
just the
know,
chicken.
you know what I actually like about them as well?
Yes.
Me ratting on their vegetables, but vegetables on their sandwich is completely different than their salads. Because with the salads, you can be a little bit more creative with those. I love their salads.
I haven't tried their salads. Is there anyone you'd recommend? I haven't
Cobb
tried them.
salad, the chicken Cobb salad.
Okay, the chicken Cobb salad. So, is it like a chicken salad with plenty of veggies?
Yeah. I mean, I like their shakes too, just because there are certain things that are seasonal, and when they are seasonal, I'll make sure whenever I do order Chick-fil-A, I always get it.
Oh yeah,
No
their
matter
shakes are
what.
on
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Like, I know that you had their peach milkshake. I remember when you and I, beefed because decided to break your fast because you weren't strong enough, and that kind of felt my conscience. But I remember that was the first time was it the first time you tasted it? When I took you during Ramadan, I think it was. Or did you
Um,
have it before then?
I know Melody Roan, uh, director of VRCBVI. We told you all about VRCBVI before. Virginia Rehab Center for the Blind and Vision Impaired. Told me about it. Melody Roan told me about it, but I don't know that I tried it before that time and that opportunity. I mean, regardless, I wasn't feeling too well that day anyway, so made up the fast later. But I wasn't really feeling well, and it was also an opportunity for me to try the peach milkshake that I so desperately craved and wanted to try. But no, I'm glad you recommended it. It was really on point. It was wholesome, and I think you make a point in our clip that we just showed our viewers and everyone. Please check out that conversation. That was a tech talk, but that came up in the beginning of the tech talk with Jason Alamio. But
By the
you
way,
said that.
guys, sorry I'm gonna get that little segue in. Just a reminder, Tech Talk is no longer gonna be a part of No Nonsense. Yes, the episodes that we did film with Jason will be a part of our channel, but moving on forward, I will be doing more of Tech Talk on my channel than on this channel. We may have, little, maybe some guests, maybe for season 3 here and there, or just one time only. But most likely, everything tech related. If I have guests on my channel, um, that'll be on my channel. It'll no longer be on No Nonsense. But you know, it is what it is. Just again, because I am more of the tech guru. Naim, you still have a minor chance of changing it if you really wanted to, but
Yeah, if I want to get into tech, I'll see. Um, but yeah, I think I want to highlight a point you made earlier. You said the shakes taste natural at Chick-fil-A. That's on point. That's pretty correct. They do.
By the way, have you ever tried their peppermint like chocolate milkshake? It's not peppermint chocolate, but it's like I remember it as their peppermint. It actually tastes like straight up peppermint, like peppermint. Have you ever had mint chocolate chip ice cream, like by
Yeah, I've
itself?
had mint chocolate chip ice cream a few times. Yeah.
So it tastes like that, just with like the added, chocolate flavor. It's really good. I like that as well. That's like
I'm gonna
that
guess
that
that's
offer.
more
I
a
think.
winter one.
Yeah, I think it's like after Halloween that they maybe I think it's either after Halloween, before Thanksgiving, and it ends at Christmas, or after Thanksgiving and it ends a little after Christmas. I can't remember.
I suspect if their calendar makes sense to my brain, between Halloween and Thanksgiving, they should do some sort of pumpkin themed thing, shake. I don't know if that's possible. Pumpkin pie or something.
I
And then
know.
between Thanksgiving and
Yeah,
Christmas,
yeah.
they can do peppermint. But yeah, some pumpkin pie milkshake. Chick-fil-A, pick that up, please.
Dude, I think it's after Christmas, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say because I think I've gotten it like in December, like mid-December.
Can we still pick up on their peach milkshake, or has that come out of season yet?
I think next Tuesday is the final day, if I'm not mistaken.
Next Tuesday. Oh wow, I better get my tush. Well, I don't want to go out. That's the thing. I better get it DoorDash to me. I wonder, do they DoorDash Chick-fil-A or Uber Eats or Grubhub?
Huh?
I wonder if they have Chick-fil-A on DoorDash, Uber Eats, or Grubhub.
They have it on DoorDash. My recommendation is get it through DoorDash, just because when my experience with Postmates, it's horrible. You know, they kind of messed up your order with Postmates. DoorDash is a little bit more
Correct.
usable with Chick-fil-A.
Good to know. Yeah, good to know because I want to I want to get some peach milkshake before it expires, but I don't want to get my tushy tush tush up and outside of this house. So hashtag COVID, right? I'll go out eventually, maybe. We'll have to see. We will have to see. The weather's
Uh,
been cooling down. It's getting into fall now, so it's pretty
I don't
nice.
know, man. My room is hot as hell. Like I'm like literally suffering sitting here because my room is really hot. I like sitting in the basement. But, I think I did speak to you about this like out like off air that I prefer the basement. Like I'm gonna literally clean that basement up. Like I'm telling my dad like yo, we're gonna get rid of things that we don't need.
You're gonna make a nice little podcast studio down there.
Yeah, just because like when I was like searching for something, I saw like a bunch of cobwebs.
Yeah, I get that feeling. You're like, man, this needs a scrubbing, and it needs a scrubbing now. And a good one at that.
Yeah.
Get that feeling.
Yeah. So your number one, I'm almost there. I just don't want to miss anything. Well,
Understandable.
I guess we can get into honorable mentions and then, talk about those a little bit. So the honorable mentions that you picked are I named these as Naim's wedding delusions just because again, we're talking about, how you wanted like a 7 day ceremony and, all that good stuff. And then Sarah can't see dreams when, we had her on our perceived dreams episode and she said that, an interesting factor for her was, she can't see like she doesn't see dreams or she doesn't experience dreams. So that's another one. And then of course Oscar's high school experience, so, I guess, you were attracted to, my high school, how I, went through high school, the 4 years of hell, as I like to call it, because, a lot of people, weren't happy with the way that I handled a lot of things. Also, people didn't think as a blind individual I could do a lot of things. But can you divulge on those honorable mentions that I just mentioned there? Talk about those individually. Well, I'm almost there. I'm just waiting.
So Sarah explained to us in the dreams episode that she came on to. Thank you, Sarah, for joining us. Um, that she cannot like visualize or conceptualize in a visual sense and she's a sighted individual. When someone tells her, okay, so visualize an apple, visualize laying out on the beach in Jamaica, getting a suntan, and smelling a mix of pina coladas, coconut, and being that it's in Jamaica, you might smell a little bit of weed and other stuff. And she just cannot visualize it. She cannot conceptualize it in an imagination. So I found that really interesting. I want to do more research on something like that, and I want to ask her some more questions on that. As per Oscar's high school experience, it connected to me. There was a story there. There was an experience there, and it explained a little more about who Oscar is, stuff that I knew, but I really didn't fully conceptualize till he put it into the context of his life, and really helped me better understand really who Oscar is and why Oscar does what Oscar does, and why, as my friend, I wish I knew really or really understood more of this about you, and it explains your perseverance, your resilience, your willingness to push through all this. And you have more great stories to tell in Oscar's Dark Rise that will be coming in season 2. But all in all, there was a lot I learned from you on that, and it was it was truly informative and just down to earth and humbling for all of us, to realize and appreciate, what one man may take for granted, another man may find is his greatest, deepest struggle and primary battle to fight and overcome simultaneously in the same time. While high school were my years of fooling around and having a good time, they were Oscar's formative years. They were Oscar's time to shine and be resilient and really fight for what mattered to him. And there's so much to take away from Oscar's story, so please check that out, y'all. And Oscar likes to put them as wedding delusions, but I believe in the power of love, and I think that we should celebrate the love of the blessed union of marriage. Hopefully, I'll find my special someone, my significant other, and we'll celebrate 7 days, 40 days, as long as we let the world and all our loved ones know that we have found the true meaning, the true taste of love. We have reached that pinnacle, that zenith, that apex that is known as the true bond between two human beings, the connection, the chemistry, the fire and passion, the greatness of love. So yeah, for some that may be delusional, for some they may just come one of the 7 days. But for me, and hopefully if my bride agrees to this insanity, maybe she won't, we will celebrate our love and celebrate the positive energy of love, harnessing that love. There's a reason I was a mad and true supporter of Marianne Williamson when she was running for president. She highlighted the importance of healing, and healing only comes through harnessing the positive power of love, which is amazing, and which is true, fully true.
Alrighty, Naim, we made it to your number one. And again, I think it's not what you're wanting to have in mind, but I just couldn't find the exact timestamp. So if you would like to divulge, more into, what it was, we'll talk about it. So I'm not gonna preface anything because it is his number one. So let's take a listen at what Naim's number one is.
Letter is R, which stands for reason. So, sorry to interrupt. I know we want to get into the R. sorry to just because it's really my passion. Did you say you wanted to do residential real estate or commercial real estate?
Always commercials, like always the best, but yeah, I would like to learn both.
So it's good to have both. I always encourage starting out with residential.
Naim.
Yes.
Before you bleed on, let's finish this.
Whoa!
You're gonna have to smart goals me.
All right. So even though it was a short snippet, I wrote down here in my notes that it was something to deal with real estate equities. But divulge on a little bit more of this clip. Of course, this is Obey's episode, and again, you did hear us mention that we will be bringing him back on for season 2. So Naim, as soon as we got off air, you can reach out to him so that way, when we get ready for season 2, he'll be ready to talk about what he has accomplished in the time that we filmed it. Because it has been like what 2 or 3 months since he's been on here.
Yeah, so we've given him the chance to continue finding his way. So yeah, I mean, I do apologize for breaking your flow there, but it's
fine.
okay. Learn and grow. Hopefully, I hope to learn and grow. But yeah. What I wanted to highlight, and I guess I wanted to highlight for a different clip, but that clip also does it. So thank you.
I just couldn't find it. And
Yeah, it was
here's the thing.
earlier.
I actually listened to the entire episode and I couldn't find it.
No problem. I wanted to highlight that sometimes our passions cause us to go on a tangent, but that really shows what our passions are. And for me, I realized investing, whether it be in real estate, whether it be in equities, so stocks, whether it be in commodities, whether it be in commodities like gold, silver, whether it be in resources like oil, or water, even in ways. Yeah, people invest in water and water, water systems. Whether it be in currencies, so foreign exchange, forex, global currencies, or for some people, and I haven't dabbled with this, so I don't want to speak to this, but for some people, whether it be in cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, all those chain block type cryptocurrencies. I don't know much about them. Whether it be in that or in businesses, or being an entrepreneur and starting your own thing, real estate. It's a passion to see your efforts yield growth, and the quantity of your capital grows. And with more capital, there's more contribution to your community. With more profit, you can give more. Why get a job when you can give others a job and build your community while building yourself? Why get a job when you can create a job? Why make profit when you can create and generate capital for your whole community? And that's what investing highlights and underlines, is the importance of not just making a profit to run home with cash, but making a profit to generate more capital for your economy, and for the economies of your communities, which results in economies of scale ultimately. And it's proportional, it grows, it multiplies. Then, so the profit that you make creates and generates capital. The income and profit you make creates and produces new jobs, so it enriches your community. And that's the amazing power of investing, especially when you invest in yourself. Be an entrepreneur. It's not easy. It really isn't. But when you put your mind to it and really don't care, you press your face to the glass and keep on fighting, the positive power is what's going to continue driving you. And you will succeed. You will see success through your resilience and through your drive, through your efforts, and through the results of your efforts that will further empower you, that will further drive you, that will further push you forward and motivate you to move forward onwards. It's amazing. The positive power that comes from investing good, of course, but in investing, pardon. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot I can talk about this. Basically, as I said it earlier, it is my passion. And I think part of personalizing this podcast experience for everyone is for y'all to know what really lies within us in terms of passions. And I hope I was effective in communicating my priorities to y'all this evening, in explaining my top 10, and in framing why I selected what I selected and how I went through the methodology, the process of selecting those particular bits and clips and shorts as they are. So I appreciate working with Oscar to get all these edited and found and time stamped. That's all the hard work.
As best as my ability took me.
You did very well.
Yeah, because I remember you and I were like, we were talking off air. We were like, do you think this is gonna take? Because I think our end goal was like try to finish it up by 11:30 p.m. Eastern. Dude, it's almost 12:30 in the a.m. So we kind of went past our end goal, but it is what it is. I guess it's just because again you picked a lot of clips within the same episode, so it was kind of hard for me to locate those. I guess that's a message to me saying that whatever we do for season 2, either have multiple devices on hand if that's gonna happen again, or I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I think you know where I'm going with this conversation. But anyways, all right, folks, that was season 1.
You did very well.
I remember June 18th, 2020, or no, June 13th, 2020. First time ever we went live.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when we were on my channel actually. That was our intermediate. That was the plan. Everything to be posted on my channel to be consistent. But then we fortunately again I don't know how to express this enough, because again that whole entire Naomi interview didn't take as much time as I thought. Which, by the way, guys, that is gonna come up. We're gonna, try to go and do another interview with Naomi just because she actually kick-started another business. But that'll be more of a me and Jason type project. So a Joe nonsense, if you will. I'll definitely post it on this channel and my channel. It's just a matter of Jason and I being able to get a time settled for Naomi that was supposed to be recorded earlier in the week, but we just couldn't get in touch with Naomi. Again, understandable with current circumstances, but that is something that's coming up soon. Don't know when. It's whenever the three of us can link up our schedules. But and again, Jason, Naim, hit me up and said, hey, this guy Jason wants to do a podcast with us. I'm like, what can we talk about with this guy? I don't know this guy too well to be, talking on our podcast. Like, and you were telling me, you're like, technology. I'm like, yeah, but what in technology? Like, again, you help me out, man. But then, I guess, again, current circumstances, you ended up being late to the call. You sent this guy Jason, the link to the Skype, and I was just sitting there, waiting for you to show up, hoping that you would show up before he would. but he showed up, before you did. Per usual, you can never show up on time to anything. But and him and I started talking, and it was just a feeling out process, and fast forward, after that first that first meeting and that first podcast shoot, you know, suggested to me, why don't you guys, just create your own little channel called, call it what you will, instead of posting it on your channel, just so that way your channel isn't overflowed with, if you want to, break out of no nonsense, whenever you want, just create a channel for no nonsense and, see how that goes. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do some research. Did some research. And that's how I ended up creating the no nonsense channel. In fact I used a YouTube video to help me do that. Sent that same video to Jason, and he created political podcast is the channel of his name. Again, I'll put the link to that to his channel down below. And our channels are doing well. We have. So you guys are probably wondering, even though it's probably stated there when you guys tune in to the channel, is we have 6 subscribers. My channel also has 6 subscribers, so still Jason has 10 subscribers. So again, congratulations to Jason for reaching that 10 subscriber goal. Again, keep doing what you're doing. Naim, again, hopefully with what we're gonna do differently with season 2, we can fish in some new viewers and new subscribers. So that's my number one takeaway from the transfer from season 1 to season 2 is that changes are going to be happening for season 2, and hopefully those changes will be will reflect on the results for season 2. So we'll revisit the results for season 2 when we come to that finale. But right now, it's 6 subscribers. Our channel, the most watched episode is the one with Mossum. Second is V's episode. Third is tied. Naim's personal journey with Jason Alamio's 3rd episode, I believe. But those are right now the top 4 that are watched right now. Again, like this video, subscribe, and share. I know it's a little long. If you're just curious of what Naim picks, you can just fast forward to me, teasing him about being, boring and stuff like that to, look at, the different clips. But that'll do it for me, guys. Naim, again, just state where people can email you just once, because again, I did post it in our little description on the about page of our channel. So go ahead and say your ending piece.
Yes, for sure. Thank you guys for joining us here to talk about reflections I was able to take away, and hopefully we can grow and we'll have great content coming in season 2. Positive vibes and love to everyone is my closing statement for season 1 and for always. So love y'all. My email address is nmabuelhawa@gmail.com. That's NM as in New Mexico, ELHAWA@gmail.com, nmabuelhawa@gmail.com. Reach out to me. Let's share discourse. It would be great. So thank you guys. Positive vibes, warm hugs, and COVID hugs, so we can be hugging each other, right? But just good vibes, and love to all our viewers, our audience, and to the more audience, the future audience that we'll hopefully bring in with engaging and compelling content that we hope to serve up to y'all. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Really love y'all.
All right, so I'm Oscar Montiel. You can check my channel out, my YouTube channel, Oscar Montiel. What I post on there is sports related and technology related. You can also follow me on Twitter, Oscar J Montiel 37. So yeah, those are the 2 main. And if you want to email me, My email is Oscar, OSCAR, the letter J, MONTIEL 37 at gmail.com. Again, that's Oscar J Montiel 37 at gmail.com. Every letter of that email, by the way, is lowercase if you guys are wondering. But until then, guys, this was No Nonsense, and we will see you guys next time with the kickoff of season 2.
Thank you guys. Bye bye. Love you bunches. We're out.